Okay, so today's agenda, we have, we're going to welcome our newest member. We're going to approve our August minutes. We have a discussion about the signs for the cemetery, cost estimates for utilities and water, and cost estimates for the marble fence posts. A little update on stone cleaning and resetting. We now have uploaded to the website some definitions and policies, any old business, and then we'll be collecting items that will go on our next agenda to be able to speak freely and discuss things for the next agenda. Welcome, everybody, and Peter, it's so great to have you sitting at the table, not at the side of the table, so.
Should we announce who we are, introduce who we are? From a lot of the board meetings, you know, you watch them and I say, I don't know who those people are.
Well, Peter, why don't you tell us who you are?
Sounds good. So I'm Peter Williams. I live at 110 Interlaken Road. As Candace alluded to, I've been kind of an emissary to the Cemetery Commission on behalf of the Historical Commission, focusing on the historic preservation aspects of what the commission is doing. And but now the selectmen have actually appointed me to the commission under the new setup where there are 5 commissioners under the new bylaw that was approved at the town meeting. So it's an honor to join you all. You have been doing amazing work ever since you started in office. And so I think that's wonderful. And I think you really feel the significance of the job that we have, because the amazing people that are in that cemetery and all the people that are in Stockbridge today, I think we have a responsibility to all of them. And so I think you guys have been doing great, and I hope I can help out a little bit.
Awesome. Wonderful.
I'm Patricia Flynn, and I am the representative from the Laurel Hill Association, which has had a long time tenure on this board.
Yes, thank you.
Not particularly me, but.
And I'm Candace Curry. I moved to Stockbridge full-time in 2018, became a board member, a commission member a couple of years ago. And I had worked for Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge for about 20 years. And so even though that was a private, nonprofit cemetery, it's really a thrill to be working in a municipal cemetery and seeing all the great stuff that we're able to get done there. So it's really a privilege to be here.
I'm Karen Marshall. I'm the chair, although not right at this moment. My vice chair here is really the chair. But I moved here in 2011, and I started working for the library doing, I came up with a bunch of tours. I have 20 different tours of the cemetery. And so, yeah, I did, they're all different topics. I just always felt very attached to the cemetery in many ways. And so when I got a chance to get on the board, on the commission, I did. And I have to say we were pretty inactive. I think there was a period where we didn't meet for 3 years. But when the last chairman moved out of town, he suggested me, and I said, yes, I want to do this, and started having meetings every month. But there's a lot to do, and it's a wonderful place to work with. So
Yeah.
Everybody said when they came to town, I'll say that I came to town on May 3rd, 1959.
yeah, you're ahead of us. You're ahead of us.
Wow.
That was not my birth date either.
Okay. Well, shall we move on to approval of the August minutes?
Yes.
I move we approve the draft August 22 minutes.
And I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. I love when that happens.
Did we have a quorum last time?
Yes. July minutes approved with correction of one typo.
Looks like there were 4.
There were 4 of us.
Yeah.
Did Terry?
But we didn't really vote anything anyway, did we?
No, not that I'm aware of. Not
I'm
that I
sorry.
remember.
I would have to go back and look at the video to know for sure that
Yeah.
we approved. It says we approved, right? With a correction of one typo.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, except for approving the minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we could make a motion to reapprove the minutes of July, just in case.
We could.
Yeah, let's do that.
I move, just in case we didn't have a quorum at our August meeting, that we approve for a second time the minutes of the July meeting with the one typo that was corrected.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I,
All right.
there we go, we're covered.
Okay. So a few weeks ago, I went in front of the select board to ask for approval to put up a sign similar to this. And they asked questions about what would the material be, how is it going to be staked? And I said that we were looking at something that would be slightly better looking than a no parking sign, but still look like a roadworthy sign. And that we were thinking of white with black letters and some type of pipe that the highway department would be able to install for us. And the select board suggested that we get something a little more attractive than a standard issue sign. And they suggested maybe some different colors, maybe some different lettering, different materials. Do we go with wood? Something more of Stockbridge. So I'm bringing this back up to the commission to let you know that that is back on the table. And I've had two responses, one from somebody who said, just go with the white and black. It's similar to across the street at what's happening at the cemetery. I've also had another suggestion from somebody else in town that said, I love the idea of wood. And so I've also since spoken to Bob Bartle, who is it Ironsmith?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
what
it's
he is?
Bob Goodwin,
An
yeah.
Ironsmith in town?
Yeah, he did the railings out front.
Okay, and I guess he's also done some Laurel Hill stuff,
Yes.
or maybe the Chestnut Preserve sign, perhaps? I'm not sure
I
which
don't know if
one.
he was involved in that or not.
So anyways, I met him at the cemetery. He suggested a cast iron pipe with maybe some type of a curve or a square and to hang this way. And it could be quite attractive. And he also suggested that if Mary Flynn were still around, she would suggest that we do a green sign because all the signs in town were green. So,
She painted the lamppost green.
yes, lampposts, yes. And I said, you mean we need to match the lamppost? He said, no, it just needs to be a green. So that's where this is one of those things that I thought we could resolve in a few months, and it's now been a year.
This is Stockbridge.
When you get multiple people involved.
Yeah.
Does Laurel Hill have some sort of a standard sign format? I vaguely thought they did, but
Well, we like to have green signs.
so, yeah, I'm
And the
thinking
sign
green.
that's out there
Is
is a
green going to be
leaf.
visible enough? I mean,
Green with white writing, like, wouldn't that be
Yeah.
pretty visible?
oh, right, I suppose.
That's what the signs are, just going up the hill
Yep.
from the Sedgwick Rock here. They're all green, that dark green with white lettering, which shows up pretty well.
And I drive down from Emerson Lane, which is up near Tanglewood, so I drive down Hawthorne, what is this, Road, Prospect Hill area. And Mackinac Heights and Mackinac Terrace, they all have oval type signs. And there's some green ones and some blue ones. And so it's interesting to look at other colors of these signs, but I think the green and the white shows up better than the blue and the gold or some of the other colors.
I would think the white background would show up better.
I
Maybe you could have dark green lettering, but I think the white background would show up more than a green background.
Unless all
All
of
depends
our
on how
marble
much we
stones.
want it to be visible.
right.
I would be happy to go around and take some pictures of signs that we could all look at the next meeting, if that made any sense.
That'd
be awesome.
I would be glad to do that.
I'm a little reluctant to use wood because it's.
I
not
agree.
gonna
I agree with
last.
that.
I mean,
Like, nothing lasts.
yeah.
Is
And
what-
it would have to be painted or stained in some way, and
Well,
that's.
they have,
not
like
work.
the geese signs, they have a man, some sort of a man-made material that they're on, but it looks like wood.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at the Laurel Hill sign that's out there. Yeah.
I'll get us some photos for the next meeting.
That would be good. But I would like to, I think we should move this along. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just taking so
right.
long to do this.
On the other hand, it's getting to be winter, so.
Yeah, well, that's, we don't, it's really.
Right, it's not going to be up for Halloween this year.
Yeah,
That's,
right,
you know,
right.
which is unfortunate.
Do we want to put a little town logo on that somewhere? The bottom or not?
You know, I thought about that at one point, and I would be inclined to put it in the back if I was going to put it anywhere, just because I think it clutters up the words.
Yeah.
Also, I think the logo may be changing at some point. Wasn't there a
That's
move?
true, very good point. I hope it's changing.
Yeah, that is so,
Very,
we all voted to be
Inappropriate.
part of that Massachusetts changeover, and I think our logo may change too, so. And I agree with you, I think it's gonna make it harder to see that, so.
So Concord Pop won't be on our logo anymore. I'm just looking at it.
Well, we
well, it
don't
might be,
know.
but that's like, you know, I don't think the indigenous community thinks that's a very good representation.
We might, yeah, maybe we keep him, but
White people.
better, better form.
It's not good.
Yeah, that-
Our
that-
history is checkered.
Looks like a more warrior type.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well, Peter, thank you so much. We'll
Right,
have signs
will do.
back on
That would be
the
very
agenda
helpful.
next week to look at pictures. All right. Hugh, you have some cost estimates related to utilities and water at the garage?
Yes, I talked to Mike Buffoni, water superintendent. He feels if we did the excavation, and being a town property, the town would provide with the pipe and the installation to get the water out there to the new water line, which is something that they want to do anyway. Because it was, it used to go to the house and then the house was sold, so it's kind of this cut off system, and so it's always been on the radar to redo it, and that sparked, well, if we're gonna do a water line, let's just get the rest of the utilities. That was my thought. As far as the electric, I talked to Nick Frutzel, and he thought to get conduit, wire, a meter socket, a panel with, a switch and a light, just kind of keep it simple, is about $5,000. I reached out to the gas company. The way the gas company looks at it is a commercial, if they can recoup what their cost expense in 10 years for commercial, then it's done for free. Residential is 20 years. So they come out and they measured it, and they're just waiting on a couple more figures, but if they can't recoup it in 10 years, might be a slight investment for the town as well, so I'm just waiting for that to finish up, I gotta get a Modine estimate for the corner and just kind of finish that up, but right now, other than the gas, whatever that comes in, and, the labor would be done from the town, digging it and stuff, so I think the cost would be minimal. My main thing was, even if we don't use it, get it stubbed up while we had a trench open to redo the water line, I look at it, let's just get it done, and then we're prepared down the road, so that was my thought, so.
So for the electric, you didn't give us a dollar figure, is that because?
He said about 5,000, he could get.
I'm sorry, I meant, I meant for the I meant for the water.
Oh, yeah.
He thought, being town property, the town would take care of putting the water in.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Highway help dig it, they'll get the water line in, and
So there's no cash outlay from
No,
us?
no,
Okay,
no.
so it's $5,000 plus whatever the
Whatever
gas company.
Yeah.
Right.
And so is it considered residential or property? Like,
I think
how does the gas company look at
Gas company's
it?
viewing it as commercial,
Okay.
town-owned property, so
Yeah,
they're looking at it, if we burn enough gas in there to recoup their losses in 10 years, then they'll do the installation through a separate entity. If they can't, it might be a slight, cost for the consumer or, you know, whoever's
Okay.
coming in, you know, they, you know, whatever it may be, so.
I see.
So they're going to get back to you on that?
Yeah, yep. There's some volume calculation, size of the building, and how many BTUs it is. And that gives their calculation, how much you're gonna use, you know. So that's, they're just waiting on that, so.
Okay.
And
So on the electric, particularly I see that Michael is here. So one thing I wonder about is what does the town pay for as opposed to what comes out of the cemetery trust fund? So for example, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to ask Michael, but if it is, Michael, I'm wondering like, so if we were to bring electricity out to the garage there at the cemetery at a cost of roughly $5,000, is that something that would have to come out of the cemetery trust fund or might it come out of some sort of town something?
Well, I would recommend that we take any improvements like that to town meeting and get it added just to the regular budget. I believe that the cemetery trust fund, perpetual care fund trust, however it's established, you know, is designed for exactly what we're doing now, the historical restoration of the facility. Now, saying that, you do have the money in there, could you use it for the electrical? Yes, if it benefits the overall. But if you don't need to do it right now and it can wait, then we could add that as a small article at annual town meeting and keep the money focused on what it's doing right now, which is the whole historical preservation and restoration of the cemetery.
I would favor that.
I mean, there's other improvements that we should look at with the building too, you know. if we're
right.
So, yeah,
that
maybe,
building long term, I mean, the roof, you know, I mean, there's some paint, there's some boards that need to be changed, there's some other things that we could tie into this project, you know, and just make it one project, you know.
right, and if it turns out the gas is a little bit of it, we could add that. So, yeah, I would
I'm a
think,
little late to this, but I guess my recommendation is that me and you can work on just putting together what needs to be there. Fix up the garage shed, and then just do an article for town meeting to fix up the article and shed, separate from the cemetery. Do it, as somebody pointed, through the highway. Just do that project as a highway project, because it's more than just their equipment there, and just make the improvements we need to make there. And yeah, I think it would be a free cash appropriation, and like I said, keep your funds
Yeah.
I
for their.
think that being said, I think we should probably have a site visit, whether it be this fall or early spring, to be prepared for town meeting in time to
Yeah.
do something for the floor, you know, see how far you guys want to invest and where you want to go with it.
sounds good, although I almost feel like it's almost more of a highway department thing in a way, like you, the guys are going to be using it, you kind of know what you need and what you want,
Yeah, but.
and working with Michael as to what
Yeah, I agree.
his
It's
guidance.
also your cemetery.
I think just your support on what we come up with.
Cool.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it really, yeah. Yeah.
Michael, I'm trying to get us to show up there rather than Vincent. We don't know why, and Vincent is muted, so he hasn't, I'm not sure why he's showing up as like the main screen here. Do you
Well,
know?
at home, you're showing up on his computer. That's how Zoom works, so.
Right.
You're watching other people.
So I'm confused because the record button is on, so that's what,
Yeah,
Okay.
that automatically happens, we automatically record the meeting.
But the image that's recorded actually is the big picture of
Yeah,
the,
yeah, you don't need to worry about any
cool.
of that.
Everybody's not having to look at
Yes,
Vincent.
they're watching you, what's being recorded
Excellent.
is that.
Okay.
This is just your view to see, and you want to see who's on, because if there was 10 people on.
right, we want to see them,
then 10
yes,
will
yes.
You have to have
and-
one big screen, you just have one guest.
Okay, Vincent, you now look like you are unmuted also. Vincent, can you speak?
Yes, hello, my name is Vincent.
Ah, we hear you, okay, awesome.
I'm present.
Thank you, okay. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't screwed up starting the meeting.
What would be a good time for us to do the site visit? Would be this fall or would be spring?
Well, because I want to, I don't want to jump ahead, but I also want to look at them stones, the post as well. So I think it, you know, I think if it makes sense, the next meeting, maybe set it to be site visit unless the weather looks iffy. You can always pull an audible and have it in here and we can do it another time, you know,
Yeah,
so.
what do you think?
Yeah, I guess.
Right, it has to be, does it have to be open meeting law, published and all that stuff?
Yeah, we also could just choose a different day. I'm thinking that's right after, our meeting would be right after Thanksgiving. And then we usually don't have one in December. So I'm wondering if we should go a little earlier in
Aren't we talking
November.
about next October?
Oh, sorry, yes, you're right. It
You
is
missed October.
Yeah, I meant October. No, we're fine in October, that's right. Yeah, October that should be all right, unless we get snow, which we do sometimes. Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, I don't know how deep you guys want to go, but I know that Mr. French also commented that there should be a flag, you know, flag in the cemetery. you
Right,
know.
right.
I mean, there's veterans flags, but there should be a flag flying, so
Well,
I don't know.
I
Passing along information.
no, yeah, I've actually gotten that before, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
So would the next meeting be held there? We couldn't because of the Zoom thing.
Or-
Well, we can have it. We just have to announce that it's on site. And
Okay.
anybody who wants to come can come.
Would we, but then that would of course sort of limit the agenda, or would we like meet about other things too? Like, I don't know.
Well, the other thing I'm wondering is we might be able to do the site visit, and then I think the church might be open to us just taking over a table. And they had that backspace that they
For
work.
that.
we come
don't
back
need
here?
Zoom?
Could we come back
We
here?
could come back here, of course. That's right, that's right.
I feel like maybe we should come back here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello?
that would make more sense, yeah.
Hello?
So
Maybe even have the site visit like at 9.
8:30? Oh, or
Can you
after.
have a site
No, beforehand,
visit?
so like at 9:30 or
Yeah.
9:45, and then have the meeting here at 10?
Yeah, I might want to give it a little bit longer than that, because I have a feeling we start talking and
True.
outside, so. We could
Can
meet at
can
9:15.
you do that? Can you have a meeting like that and not have any discussion or, so that that's not part of the meeting? But when you have a site visit like that, does that have to comply with the meeting laws? I'm just not.
Technically, yes, but I mean, realistically speaking, it's very hard for people to have a discussion without, we don't have to come with any, we shouldn't vote on anything.
Right,
Right.
right.
But we need to discuss things.
Or ask questions.
And ask
Ask questions.
questions. Oh, yeah,
We
absolutely.
can ask the questions, bring the discussion back here.
Exactly.
And then,
Yeah.
So let's meet at 9:15 then, that makes sense.
yeah, so 9:15
At the garage.
Yeah,
at the cemetery.
And then
So
the
this is
actual
for the
meeting will be
October
here at
meeting.
10.
thank you for reminding me what month it was.
Um, Come on.
So that's October 24.
Yeah,
Thank you. So 9:15 at the garage, and then 10 o'clock here for discussion
okay.
and the rest of the agenda. Awesome. Peter, you're a breath of fresh air here.
He'll keep us on a straight and narrow.
You will.
But, you know, as long as we announce that the site visit is also open to the public, I think we're fine.
Yep,
Yes, right, so that should somehow be on the agenda.
yep. Okay, so Hugh had to step out for a call.
Oh, you may be coming back.
Stepping back in to talk about the marble fence post costs.
Yes, there he is, yay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
So we're thinking for our next meeting, which is October 24th, we'll meet at the garage at 9:15.
At the cemetery?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll come back
Then
here.
we'll come back here for discussion.
Yeah.
So we'll,
Awesome.
okay.
That's great.
Yeah, I want to look at that, like I said, a few things, look at the building, I want to look at the post and
Yeah,
you
the
guys
post would
make
be
all
cool.
your decisions and.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
And so speaking of posts, were you able to get, did you review number of posts to get a cost estimate of something other than?
No, I just got that one thing there from Cheshire Grant on the cost of
That was,
each one, the
that was,
corner, each individual. I guess it's up to the committee, whether you want to do any of them or one of them or how many. So I think
Okay.
that's something. that
Okay, we can look at that next week, next
Yeah.
month also.
Yeah.
Okay,
That sounds great.
And then we can just get them sticky notes done.
Yeah, right.
okay, so we've got,
Because we can take a look at that while we're there at the garage.
Absolutely.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Yeah.
we need to- That's why I thought we'd give a little more time, because by the
Yeah.
time we look at everything and walk over and, you know, take a little time.
all right. So next thing on the agenda, stone cleaning and resetting. Progress thus far. It's been incredible. There have been several volunteers who have helped with cleaning. There have been very successful resetting workshops with Hugh and the other folks in the highway department. And the sergeant tombs have also been, I guess maybe phase 2 has been completed.
Phase
which-
two's done, yeah.
which raised the tables to unearth what was below them, to see if they could figure out what was underneath those tables. And so the report also just came out yesterday that I saw.
Yeah.
Is that something we can also make available to public?
Yes. we
Okay.
could, I'll ask Terry to put, or maybe Terry Emilini, right, to?
Like, maybe,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, great. Because it's a fascinating report, the process of unearthing those things and cleaning them and figuring out how to bring them back, quote, to life without actually recreating history.
Quite a report.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, I'm amazed at what they got done in like 3 or 4 days. It was something.
yeah, it was
And-
wonderful.
And the highway department, you guys enjoyed that experience?
Yes, they did. Unfortunately, with the weather and the Josh and stuff, we had to move around a little bit. So
Yeah.
if we're gonna do another one, if we can look at, other activities and schedule,
Yeah.
so we don't conflict with
Yeah.
anything, so.
Preservation Inc. has already put in a proposal for that.
Okay.
That's going into Michael, and I got a copy, so that's good.
And so we'll be able to discuss that at the next meeting.
Yes, yeah. And then,
So are those, do we understand that phase 3, I think is what we're talking about now, is the next step to, I'm looking at their proposal that was just circulated yesterday,
Transcribing.
that I think, no,
Oh,
this is
with-
just the
with
sergeant's
sergeant.
stone. So I think the idea is to put some sort of like curbing stone or something underneath them to get them up off the ground.
Right.
And so I'm just wondering, are we talking about that now? Do we want to get it done this season? Is it okay for those stones to sit out there all winter where they are?
yeah, I talked to them about that, and they're actually in very good shape right now. They're up on these wooden plasters, and they're tilted slightly so the water can come off. So nothing more will happen.
Cool.
So
Right.
we have to work out the whole granite thing. I know that they've been talking to you about
Yeah,
that.
he said something about marble over granite, because granite, I could reach out to Chester, marble, I have to look a bit, smaller.
Yeah.
I think
We
they
should share this
changed,
with you if we haven't already, because they're saying granite. And
yeah.
They really want to do granite.
Talking marble.
Yeah, I think what happened is one of the tablets is marble, the other one is
Brownstone.
brownstone.
Okay,
And so choosing marble for both of them
for granite.
wouldn't feel right. So that's why they wanted to decided on choosing a third thing, which is granite, which would be more stable than those other two stones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think they thought it would be good to make it clear that these are not original.
Right.
right.
Something subsequent, and I think that's good.
Do we have sizes that they want, or?
Not yet, I don't
I don't
think.
think so.
If we can get that, then we can work with,
Oh,
getting them cost estimates going, so we just.
Yep.
Right, so if you don't mind, I'll just read the last little short paragraph from their proposal that we just got yesterday. With the town's agreement, Preservation Inc. will proceed with Phase 3, which already has been approved. Phase 3 includes the design, development, and installation components. As there are unknowns associated with the sourcing and fabrication of granite curbing, Preservation Inc. will work with the town to revise the scope of work to develop a work schedule. The simpler curb design will most likely reduce the total cost to the town. So I think that's what Hugh's talking about, which sounds good to me.
Okay.
Right.
So I think, yeah, my sense is they're going to do that over the winter, so.
Okay.
But if you'd like more information, I can write to them and say, they talk a little bit about the size, so if they can come up with a size, then, because they
Well,
said,
they're going to be around again, right?
Oh, that's right,
Next week is
Next
another
week, yeah.
volunteer cleaning, the second,
Okay.
fourth, and fifth.
I should probably touch base with I guess what I'm trying to say is anything that you want me to help with that,
yeah.
get done, you know what I mean? Let's get it,
Yeah.
you know, just try
Well,
to
that, I
really
forgot about that, yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. I think
ball rolling, so.
if you could just stop by and talk to them about that, maybe they might have the sizes already.
Right, I don't know if you are you looking for like pieces of curving or something more, I don't know.
Well, that's what I think, see what they have to say. They're going to make a judgment.
Right.
They're going to be there Monday through Thursday next week.
Right.
With some cleaning people, hopefully helping, including me this time.
Yay, and me.
I completely missed it last time.
Can you have a meeting there during that or not really? I don't know how.
So I don't think it would be a real meeting. It's just like you talking to Preservation Inc.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought maybe if we're there looking at that, the building, the fence post, or we can't do that. I don't know how.
But I don't know if the whole commission will be there all at the same time.
I'm not going to be around at
Yeah,
all.
I think Peter and I will be there, but,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
and the posts and the curbing, I don't know if the curbing's supposed to have the tilt or if
Right.
the way they said it will tilt. So I'm not
Yeah, good
clear.
question, right. So those are things to talk about.
Yeah, right, right.
That may have to be ramped up on one
Right,
end, higher
right,
on one end.
Right, so I don't know.
But I think if you let me know when Peter will be there, I'll meet with, that way there, we can kind of, does that make sense? Secondhand, we just kind of get a good idea of what they want.
Yeah, it would probably be good if we
Yeah.
were all there at the same time.
Right, I mean, I'll be there at 9 o'clock on Monday, the second.
My one little wrinkle is I'm having solar installed in my house maybe next week, but maybe not. So hopefully, usually they tend to procrastinate, so hopefully I'll be there at 9 on Monday. too.
Monday,
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, I won't be available on Monday.
Um,
And I'm going to be out of town, so. I'm going to
London
London.
town?
I'm going to London, yes. My reward.
But it's really information from Bill and Ian that
Yeah.
you're going to be
Right.
looking for.
Right, but I think it's important that you're in
Yep.
the loop.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
So it's,
Yep.
rather, I try to avoid one more step.
Yeah. You're absolutely
That's what I'm
right.
saying.
You're right, no, you're right.
Simplify.
You're absolutely right.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
it were morning, I'd probably be able to make it. I can't in the afternoon.
Well, we are talking about 9 a.m. Monday. Yeah. But you're a night owl, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a little tough for you.
Okay.
So the next cleaning workshop is October 2nd through the 5th?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that's next week.
Are we going to do more publicity for that? I must admit, I have completely missed all the prior publicity, so.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't hurt to put out
I can
A
probably get
reminder.
it back in the Berkshire, Stockbridge updates and probably the Berkshire, what is it called? Edge?
The Edge, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah, and right, because the new Stockbridge update will come out on October 1, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
You have a 10 by 10 pop-up tent, just so you know. It's last.
Oh, really?
Setting with the heat and everything, we got one of the top 10 pop-up tents. So if you guys want it available for your cleaning,
Okay.
we'll set it up. So,
Oh, thanks. Okay. I saw you had it over the sergeant rooms.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
so if
I thought
you guys
that was
want
Bill and
you
Ian's.
know,
Okay.
If you guys need it, it's available for you, so
Great.
just let me know.
Cool. And so one of the other volunteers, last week or the week before, when we were there, we don't have to have Bill and Ian with us when we're doing the cleaning. And those of us who have been trained, we know how to use D2. If the water, assuming the water is on at the cemetery,
Yeah.
we need water and D2. And if we had supplies, so somebody suggests, we could, those of us who want to volunteer, we could come once or twice a month and continue doing some cleaning in the old section. Like we've already learned what to do. And so there could be a handful of us willing to do that. And so I'm just throwing that out there as a potential community building effort.
Traditionally, they shut the water off, they start Columbus Day.
Columbus Day, okay.
So if you guys are gonna be doing some cleaning, just let me know, I'll pass that on to
Yeah.
Mr. Buffoni, water superintendent. Not shut it off and keep it going till you're ready.
Well, no, we'll respect those things because you never know what the weather's going to do.
Right,
So,
Right, the weather gets more iffy after
Yeah.
Columbus Day.
besides, your hands get colder when you're doing stuff.
Yeah, right, you get wet.
I think it's a great idea.
But sort of as an ongoing thing, like next year.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
In the spring.
The person who brought it up, might they be willing to run it? Because we need somebody to sort of run the, these are the hours, these are the,
And somebody, we just need to have supplies too.
Right. So we would have to budget supplies and buy some buckets and brushes and D2.
Right.
And-
The D2 is, I asked Ian and Bill about it, and it's $500 for a big,
That 5-gallon
Yeah,
thing or whatever
right,
it is. And you can get it through Atlas.
oh, you can?
Yes.
Oh,
What is it called? Atlas Monument, Atlas Supply in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I get mine. I just buy it by the gallon, of course.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know if the person who suggested it would be willing to coordinate or not. And I can also say that several people emailed me to say, I'd like to do it, but I have kids and I'm not available during the week. Can you offer one of these things on the weekend? And so I suggested that maybe next year we could figure out a weekend date
Totally.
to
Good
be able to
idea.
do this. It may or may not include Bill and Ian.
Right.
Yeah, I think we can do it without
Yeah,
them.
so I think I was thrilled to get those emails actually that they wanted to
Maybe we can get some
participate.
kids to help out.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be great.
Right.
Do you think we have time to do one of those this season, or should we aim for the?
I would aim for next.
I'd aim for next spring.
Okay.
I've already put it out there as next spring also.
Okay, all right, good.
We're already doing, next week.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, that's right. And they do shut off the water. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right.
Yep. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
yeah,
Okay.
very exciting.
Will you ask I saw who would do, I saw the name. Will you ask him about running it? If not,
Yep, if not, maybe one of us would be like to do that.
I'm looking at Pat right now. She's just very organized. I'm just looking at her. That's all. She has plenty of time to think about it. She has plenty of time to think about it. I think it's really just a matter of getting an email out to everybody and,
Right,
and here are the dates and that kind of thing, so.
right.
Once I get a cleaning under my,
Yes, you haven't cleaned with us.
no,
Not this year.
no.
Did you last year?
I couldn't do it, and no.
Oh, okay.
It just blew right by me.
Okay. So we now have the definitions and policies on monuments, markers, plants, and decorations up on the town website. I know.
Including
So
cremation.
I must admit, I looked for that this morning and couldn't find it.
Yes,
If you go under details,
or just go
So-
under
And the
cemetery
website.
commission. Look at the very thing at the very top underneath cemetery commission. Look at that other thing. It says definitions and policies right at the top.
Oh, that.
Is it linkable? Yes.
I have a
I think
question.
we need to have brighter letters.
Green, we need
and
green.
when you go under meetings and stuff too.
Oh, so is it in two,
There's a
it's in two
thing that says,
locations?
on each meeting, it has agendas and if there are minutes.
Oh.
And then there are details, and if there are attachments and stuff, those all show up there. That's how I got to the policy, that's how I got to the policies.
So it's not going to show up at every meeting though, right? You're talking about where.
I see that, right.
List
So
of
it's under
meetings?
today's meeting. I just clicked on today's meeting and it brings up both the agenda and the
And the
definition of policies.
definitions,
But I guess that's because we were going to talk about them today.
Well, okay, I guess.
So it strikes me, I mean, there needs to be a little bit of cleanup here anyway, like they don't have the right commission members.
Right.
So I don't know who talks to who, but whoever does maybe could say, could you make this more prominent?
I don't,
I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Different color,
Terry or not Teresa?
I don't think they probably
I guess
have
I'm not
much.
sure.
I'll ask,
Webpage.
Okay.
I'll ask Teresa.
Yeah, I don't know how common it is for commissions or committees to have something on the website. So I don't know if this is like, how do we put this up there, right? I
Yeah,
don't,
they might, right. I think it might be a sui generis thing so that they could fool around with it a little more and
Okay.
Make it more.
So, and
Make it more obvious.
User
it shows
friendly.
up under that too, right?
Right, and so it doesn't show up under cemetery regulations, which is where I looked for it. That just gives you the bylaws, which isn't really the cemetery regulations. So maybe it should be there. Like, that's what I looked at. Oh,
That's where I thought it was going to go, but they,
yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe we could have that change made. Maybe it could be in both places. The more, the better.
And so I haven't heard any comments about it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I don't know if anybody else has got any
I have a
comments.
question about something. We don't want to encourage grave rubbing, do we?
No, we don't.
No,
Because I ran into somebody a couple weeks ago who said, at some point talking about the cemetery, said, oh, I'm thinking about doing one, and we kind of said, well, it's not, we don't really encourage
because
that.
didn't they mention that, was it at the library meeting or whatever?
Yeah.
What did they
That
say?
that grave rubbing is detrimental.
Yeah. And so I mentioned it to this person and she said, oh, it would just be a little thing. And she's the kind of person who probably won't go through with this, but it reminded me that we don't have it. I went and looked and we don't have anything
Okay.
about it. So I think we should add that. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
So,
It would be in our policies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, definitions and policies.
Should we let Hugh go? Is Hugh free?
Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. Yeah.
well,
Just wait,
is there,
one more thing that-
is-
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry, I want to.
Oh, you might have something for new business or whatever.
old business, what did you,
Hedges.
hedges?
AA is working on removing some hedges at request of the family.
Yeah.
And it ties into some existing hedges that have gone rogue.
They do.
Almost like if we should just,
Yeah, which part of it, which part of
it would be the south, the Main Street entrance off Church Street. As you go past Billy Williams's, you pull in there, the house is to the right, it's just, hedges just past the fence there. It's kind of this, or under the pines, and there's some nice stones and stuff in there, they're just lost, and it's a maintenance nightmare, trying to get in there, keep it clean, and
Which corner is this? I'm not grasping it.
if you pull in off the entrance most close to Main Street off of Church Street, the south entrance,
Yeah,
off of Church Street,
So,
past.
Those residential feeling entrances.
Where the carriage house is, pull in that carriage barn is.
Okay, the one I just took the picture of today?
Yes.
Okay. You
Yeah,
come in there and then,
just keep going straight at the end of the neighbor's chain link fence there's hedges, just on the little hill there to the right.
to the right. Oh, yeah, I think I know
Yeah,
what
they're
you
kind
mean.
of these big,
Underneath those pines, yeah,
they're kind
yeah.
of these big gnarly looking.
well, I agree in general that there are a lot of growth in the cemetery that's out of control. I feel like that's something we need to think more about,
In the future.
sort of comprehensively, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, the thought of even having a consultant occurs to me that we don't have to discuss that today. But yeah, so, I mean, to the extent Hugh has something that he wants to focus on, I think that might.
That would be
good.
a good agenda item for next month after we've been
Yeah.
down there and you can show us.
Yeah, how about showing us?
That area.
Is that okay?
when
Oh, you don't think we
when
could just vote on it now?
Or,
Well, because there's some work that has to get done for safety reasons.
Yeah.
Doing some work at
Yeah,
request of a
that's
family member, and what, as well, you move bushes away from other bushes, it's really gonna look.
They look pretty
It's gonna
bad.
look-
I'm just wondering if we could just go ahead on this one.
so is it a private lot? Like, can people just
No,
request
it's not.
stuff?
No, there's only two private lots there. one-
Yeah,
Sedgwick and
just
the other's
wondering.
Choate. So that's it. Everything else is the town, so. But I'd make a motion that we allow Hugh to go ahead, cut down whatever he thinks is
Right,
necessary.
we'll let Richie kind of use his own best judgment and work
Yeah.
with him and.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's my motion.
I'll second that.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good.
And so while we're on the topic of maintenance also,
Yep.
the string trimmers. And so when we were there with volunteers, one of your guys was string trimming at a marble monument. And so one of the consultants said, hey, I thought we didn't allow string trimmers anymore. And so I had forgotten that we had gotten a complaint, and therefore we did start trimming the oldest section. But weren't we going to try to get guards or something? for
Yeah,
the
we
string
worked on
trimmers?
that for a while, and they don't make a guard for a trimmer like that. They do for the electric trimmers, but unfortunately, they're they're not a commercial electric trimmer where you're gonna go out, you're gonna be chasing, you know, it's like a residential little apartment type.
Okay, yeah,
trimmer,
it
right?
lasts for 45 minutes and that's
So it's
it.
something I know I mentioned I was gonna work on, and it's just
Yeah.
one of the notes that just, you know, like everything else, it's just here we are a year later, still working on these
Yeah.
sticky notes. So I can move forward and try to, you know, I know I talked to Bobby, and he researched it at Meadow Farms, and there's nothing available,
Yeah.
you know, over the counter for them, so it's something.
Okay, so you'd have to
Get
manufacture it. Uh-huh.
Right,
Oh, boy.
right. I
Maybe
know
you
we
could,
had
maybe you
talked-
could design and patent something.
I know we talked about doing time, I know we got a lot of ideas on
Yeah.
the table, so.
Yeah, I think we kind of do need to say no more string trimmers in that area, though. I hate to
But,
say.
yeah, but somebody complained.
Yeah, because we tried to.
That's what
You don't necessarily
Things last
opt
year.
every complaint.
We don't, but, you know, I can appreciate that.
But was some of that because we were also kind of not
We weren't
mowing?
mowing it, we were
But if
gonna
we
go
mow-
2 mows a year or something. in there.
Yeah.
Remember, we
We
tried that?
that, and that didn't seem to work real
Maybe
well.
you-
But if we say,
Reviews.
let's mow, but no string trimming, and then see how that goes. I mean, I would like to try that anyway. Like, it's all experimental. We're trying it, so.
Does that make sense to
Do you
you?
have thoughts about that?
Is there a way that when you string trim, that you can have some sort of a plastic piece of, almost like a tin?
shield of some sort.
A shield put in front of just
Takes
put
forever.
between the,
It would take 3 years to do that, every stone in there.
Right.
Also, I think that's the preservation guys would say, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thing, even if it worked, you could miss it could come off while you're working, it just, you know. But yeah, how do you feel about the idea of mowing next year?
No
and not-
trimming, just
not
mow.
trimming?
We could do that, the only thing I request that the board put something on your website, or put something up, let people know that it's not highway getting
Right,
lazy. There's a thought behind it, you know?
yeah. The other thing we talked about was it wild strawberry?
Yeah.
And
Right.
and I can get back, in the spring, I'll get back in touch with Green Acres and see if we can hire them. Because you always said there's a little extra money usually in the regular budget, right? For that kind of thing. So maybe we
Okay.
could do that too. And there's some places where that you don't need a string trim at all because.
Well,
it's-
yeah, so, well, let's add that to our plant discussion for next time.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Because being able to plant a low-growing thing in front of all these monuments that we've cleaned would really make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cut an article out of a recent newspaper along those lines that I'll bring or try to get copies of or something for everybody.
I know time was mentioned a few times.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Time is
there's
certainly a
ton of time
possibility.
in there.
Yeah.
So I think if we kind of just have a couple of those things around and, but yeah.
Time has at least proven that it can grow there.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it really has.
But it takes some work to get it established. I've been trying to do it in my family cemetery in Richmond, and it's a slow process.
I think the first, because I've been doing it in my home garden for certain areas, and it feels like the first 2 years, nothing happens. And then the third year, it's like, boom.
Good.
So,
I'm happy to hear that.
yeah.
And then one more thing, there's a giant white pine down by the Rockwell
Oh, yeah.
that Berg's coming to look at. They got hit by lightning, and if it comes down, it's gonna do substantial damage. So we're looking at that, and also he's gonna look at the pruning,
Good. I was wondering about that.
because you go in there now, it's like, you know, it's some.
Especially around Rockwell, that's so high now.
Yeah, no, but there's some hardwoods over in the other sections and stuff that
Oh,
need
yeah.
to be.
Yeah, I would applaud getting some advice. So you're talking about from the tree warden?
Working with Burdick, the tree company.
Oh, okay.
Come and do that.
Cool.
Do some pruning for us.
Oh,
Great.
I just move forward on some stuff, you know, it's just.
Good.
It just gets stagnant, so.
Well,
Yeah.
plus it's a
who
safety
owns
issue.
the big white pines along the
Namkeg Road.
The Namkeg driveway?
They, not kegs, I'm not sure.
And I'm not sure that those are white pines. They might be something
There's
else.
both.
Whatever the
There's red
pines
pine,
are.
white pine, and spruce. I think.
I'd heard some recently that the Choates planted that so they wouldn't be able to see the cemetery.
Okay, but this is up the other side on Church Street
Oh.
side. It's,
Yeah,
I'm
so
one of the residents there on this side of the side, so.
Yeah.
I would certainly encourage you to continue to pursue that. And I think there's
Yes.
Yeah.
a whole lot of room for things to be improved and probably not much risk for anything bad to happen.
And our tree guy seems to be so busy that
Yeah.
it's great that you're working with someone else.
Yes. Thank you, Hugh.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, just some things we look at Monday or whatever day before. the
Okay.
next
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
I mean, hopefully things will be done before the next
Snowstorm?
meeting, so.
yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
So agenda items at our next meeting.
I would like to, we've gotten a proposal to I think they sent this out late yesterday, I'm sorry, transcription of the gravestones.
Yes.
And they would want to do it in December because the lighting is very good
Wow.
for that.
How many headstones are involved? It didn't mention it in.
I think all of them.
642 or something like that, it's huge.
That seems like a really good proposal, I must say.
Yeah, and I thought the price was really reasonable.
Just two sections, right?
The so-called old, the part that they've been working on.
We're working on now.
That they've done the spreadsheet for. So I think the idea is the transcript will go on the spreadsheet for each stone.
Yeah.
Which would be a beautiful thing.
And where is, I'm just not cognizant, where is the old Curtisville section?
That is, as you're facing the vault and go to the left, go to the right, I'm
Go to
sorry.
the right.
And then follow the road as it turns, and then at the back corner, and then the road turns again. They're very, very, it's a very small.
You know where the Fitzpatrick
Yes. Do you know?
burial is? There's a big obelisk for the Fitzpatricks that's new down toward the back, getting.
Next to that.
close
Can go
to the
and
back
look.
driveway. Yeah, so if you find the Fitzpatrick stone and just kind of look off to the west, you'll see
Yeah.
them. They're all super close together is what's the tell. Like, there definitely are not bodies buried under there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just all the stones.
Yeah,
So there's 600 some stones
total
total.
for the two, or maybe 650.
Those two sections.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd love to add that to our.
Yeah, so
I'd love to
let's put
approve
that on.
that,
Yeah.
before they do it.
Is that anything that volunteers could learn? how-
Well, that
Yes.
was the original thought, that we would get volunteers, but we really need to move on it.
I agree. It's never going to happen if we wait for
Yeah.
Boy Scouts or something. to do
Yeah,
it.
it's just not, yeah,
And this is very reasonable.
yeah. Ian
Proposal.
is particularly good at reading stones,
Yeah.
really good.
He's probably had lots of practice.
That's what it is, what it is.
But it's an art and a skill and
Yes, and in fact, we did talk to Ian about getting volunteers to continue cleaning. And one of what he doesn't want to lose track of is what stones have the volunteers been cleaning? So I'm going back to a previous agenda item. And so one of us would need to keep track of what stones got washed and update that spreadsheet, that database that says, okay, we clean this one, we clean this one, we clean this one.
Okay.
Because Ian's been keeping track of all of that.
Yeah,
And I forget, where is that spreadsheet? Is it accessible to us and is it?
well, there's one here, and I have one at home, so there are two copies, and I don't know if there's something we can get onto the website.
Yeah, I wish we had a way that we could like share documents easily.
Yeah,
Well, and of course, there is I'm not good at it at all, Google, whatever.
right.
I know, but yeah.
Yeah, but we've struggled with that a little bit ourselves.
Yes.
so,
Well, if that's something that could be added along with, like with the policies and stuff, if there were a read-only access to something like that. Because we don't want
Right, we don't want people.
Right.
anybody just
Definitely want to be
going in.
read-only on the website. But then I think also for the commission, we
Yes.
need a way, in a way, it'd be nice if all the commissioners could get into it. And so I'm not sure, maybe Michael could help.
Because
us.
all they have to do is produce a PDF version
Yes, for
Right.
the website.
from the website, yeah.
Yeah. All right. And one other thing I want to bring up is, for next time, is the idea of buying more D2 and spray packs. And I did talk this over with Hugh, just to make sure he was okay with it, and he seems to be okay with it. And asking the highway department that's working the cemetery to start spraying stones, not wiping them down, just spray them as they move around the cemetery. Like, they're in there mowing, and then maybe the next day they go around and just spray a bunch of stones. I think we can see that it works. And you need to do scrubbing later, but I think it would help with the scrubbing later. I think, because there's one
Soak
stone.
in and stuff.
Yeah, there's one stone that, there was always a bunch of stuff left over, and so Ian just kind of kept throwing D2 on it, didn't touch it at all. It's almost as white as the ones we've been.
That's, I understand. I think if you go to the, I don't know where, there's like D2 YouTube videos or whatever. I mean, one of the theories is spray and forget
Right.
Yeah,
as opposed to spray and scrub.
yeah.
And, right, I think spray and forget is a
I think it would-
accepted idea.
Well, I was thinking we could continue to clean, but we would have an advantage.
Yes.
You know,
right.
and maybe some we'd look at and say, this doesn't need cleaning, this is great, you know?
Yes. And even, I think, we don't have to decide all this today, but even like, I was looking at those posts, like, all of those posts
Right,
look like if you
exactly.
sprayed them with some D2,
Yeah.
they'd look a lot better over time.
Right.
And nobody wants to sit out there and scrub those darn posts.
So we need to buy,
If we find somebody that wants to do that, let them.
so we need to buy stuff, and it has to be kept above freezing in the winter, so we'd have to
okay.
figure out a, you know.
You can't put it
New
in.
heated garage when it's.
Oh, that's right, that's right. But yeah, they've got room in the highway department, I would think.
Yes.
And
Right,
some,
that
maybe some of the
beautiful.
backpack kinds of things and some sprayers and.
Good idea.
But I think that's something we could, maybe we put that into the town meeting thing he was talking about. But there's also a certain amount of money in the budget every year.
Right.
And it's like $7,000. That includes paying Richie Atwood.
Okay.
But there's still usually a little bit of money left, you know, so. Anyway, we'll talk about it next
Buy
time,
the
but I wanted to
supplies.
bring that up as a possibility.
Should this other Preservation Inc. proposal be on the agenda for the next meeting?
Yeah, I think so too, the,
Proposal for additional
there's two.
resetting work.
yeah, we should look at that as well, yeah.
Yep. All right.
And we should probably just make sure that Hugh is on board with this. I don't know if they.
Well, I did mention it to him. I ran into him at the transfer station one day. And I said, I'm going to bring this up at a meeting at some point, you know, are you comfortable with it? He said, whatever you guys decide to do.
And it kind of, right, when you read the proposal, it sounds like that was a conversation between Preservation Inc. and the Highway Department.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right in the second paragraph.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, this year there was an issue because it was scheduled just before the Josh Billings.
Yeah.
And the highway department had to do a whole lot of work to get ready for the Josh Billings. So
Yep.
they didn't have full attendance,
Right, right.
or it was cut short.
But it sounds like they enjoyed it. And,
Yeah, it sounds like they had a really good time.
yeah.
And that'll be a great money saver in the long run.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think that's all we have.
Well, I'm going to look over the website. I haven't actually done that yet, and I probably won't get to it completely until after I get back in
Okay.
mid-October. But I'll look it over and see what seems to be, you know,
That'd be great.
looked at, and we can talk about that next time. And then I'll go talk to Teresa. I'm not sure she's the person or not, but I'll find out. So.
Okay.
Because you're right, and a lot of these, like this report needs to go on, and it's just.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing some great stuff, so we need to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Sounds great.
Yep.
And we're at 1 hour, given that we started a little bit late.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
right, yeah. Amazed what we get done.
Vince, we don't normally go over the hour, but we did today.
No problem at all. I
Okay.
learned a lot. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Vince. Okay, so I think
I move we adjourn.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.